saying like we do every week, we appreciate and want to honor those people who are going through bereavement. Bereavement is a very trying situation, and here at Revive Mississippi, we've been, making sure we recognize folks who are going through bereavement. Just last week, our good friend Miss Denise Terry laid to rest her brother, and just so many family members and friends who are going through bereavement. We just want to take a moment just to tell the folks that they were with them, and our prayers and our hearts go out to everybody as they go through these challenging times.
Yeah.
You have any opening comments, Jason?
Not at the moment, Commissioner. It's been a lot going on here. I mean, a lot, and so I want to leave a lot of time to the pressing issues that we do have here. And go right ahead, sir.
I want to start the show off by recognizing our underwriters. Our underwriters for today's show are Mr. Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. Brother always has great service all over Mississippi. And if you're looking for part-time employment, driving and helping transport folks from place to place, you can go again to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. He's always there and providing great service. Also, if you want some good food versus fast food, go on, check out Stamp Super Burger over there on the same place. They always been doing the same thing they've always done, providing value and good quality, good food to our community. They didn't pay for this advertisement. I just think you should celebrate your own people. They don't give me any money, and they don't give me a discount when I go. I just go for the
Well, I got to say one thing, Commissioner, is that, I just love when we got the staple home businesses that they stay there and they upgrade their facility too. I want to point that out. I was over there by the other day. I walked in there. I said, "Oh my goodness, y'all cut up over here, man! You got to upgrade the whole facility." So
they just started the transition
to
the third generation.
Gotcha.
And the young brother, he's a hard charging stamps. He's kicking in, he's making it happen. But more importantly, he has his father and his uncle there, and his grandmother, his mother, so he got good folks around him. And they just keep working through it.
I love it, boss. I love it. Go ahead, Chief.
All right, so today we're gonna recap a little bit because we've been on the road the last few weeks. And there's been a lot going on around the world and locally.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have one announcement to make, and I can't be as specific as I wanted to be. It's something our office has been working on for the past 4 or 5 months. As we came aboard, the Public Service Commission has many roles and responsibilities, many of which the average person doesn't necessarily know that well. And do you have a microphone down towards the computer so the folks on the radio can hear?
I can put it down here further there, sir. I got you on full blast, though, Commissioner.
All right, good deal. And so I want to make sure that folks in radio land can hear well. Well, our roles that we do, I know we can do a lot, like when you call our office and you call us for a myriad of different things. It may not be exactly what we do, but we always try to help because we do know how government works and different responsibilities of different offices. And when it comes to the core services we provide, one of those services is one of the companies we regulate provides is telecommunications. And I can't announce what the number is at this point, but there will be another area code coming to Mississippi to shore up the needs, because in our office, we look down the road. And we saw that the 662 area code is about to be exhausted. So we started the groundwork in getting the approvals and going through the process of providing an additional area code for folks in the central and northern district of Mississippi. And again, we'll be releasing that number probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's good things coming to Mississippi. That means that we're moving forward and preparing for the future. The 662 area code is due on its current trajectory to be exhausted in about 2 years.
Okay.
And the additional area codes should carry Mississippi for the next probably 30 years or so until it's fully exhausted. So again, those are some of the high level things that we do in our offices, preparing for the long range. I know you can call our office and we may, even though we don't directly do broadband, we know it and can walk you through it. Even if we don't directly do a myriad of different things that people call us for. And sometimes because of our over service, people may cloud what it is we actually do because they called us and we helped them in a space, but it's not our role or responsibility. So I just wanted to say that that's the type of things that the Public Service Commission does. Forward thinking, long range, big picture things, even though folks might call for, people. I had a guy call me yesterday about child support. That's not what we do, but I can direct you to the office and talk you through the process the best I know how. And so, so I just wanted to make an announcement. I was going to announce it today on the radio what the number is, and I had a little more information to put out that goes along with it, but it's going to be tomorrow before we make that official announcement. So we were going to make an announcement today, but we got a few things that we had to cross our I's and dot our, how they say, cross our I's and dot our T's.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, Commissioner, since you brought up the broadband, I mean, at the end of the day, that is a hot issue for all of us, especially when you talk about economic development and the growth and the value, proper value. So you want to speak on that? Because I do know they got a couple of things coming up here pretty soon, and I want to make sure the constituents are aware about what's happening, and also the municipalities, making sure they're doing their part.
All right, well, hold on. Before we dive into that, I got a few more things on my agenda before we get there. All right. So last week, we had the honor and privilege of going to Toronto, Canada. We got an invitation from the National Policy Alliance. It was Juneteenth last week, and the way they celebrated it was very unique. They had a Underground Railroad presentation, and they asked folks from Mississippi and Alabama and other southern states to come to Toronto because that was kind of one of the ending stops to the Underground Railroad. And I'm pretty much a history buff. I know a lot of our local history and some of our history in the past, but the connection between communities who just packed up. I know we hear these stories about Harriet Tubman and we kind of minimize their accomplishment. And I want to say, when we actually quantify that accomplishment, imagine like today, if you didn't have any street lights, street signs, formal roads, and you're going to walk and navigate without a compass and get to Canada and make several trips back and forth. And she wasn't the only one. And this patchwork set of good people and the grace of God ushered in thousands of people from the South to the North. Displacing families even furthermore. But when you get to that space in the Toronto area, you have literally at this point millions of Black folks and white folks, because there were white folks who were leaving the South as well because of conditions. And just imagine that journey people went on. So I just want to let folks take a moment to just think about that for a second. We get caught up in the lack of convenience of several pieces of our lives, but we don't put it into perspective and actually acknowledge what people did before us, because we've gotten so convenient with the way we move. And so as I took a couple of days of looking at that journey, they asked me to come speak because the election that we were able to become successful in, you're working here locally, but you don't really see the reverberating impacts.
Mm-hmm.
And folks in other countries are saying, wow, Mississippi is elected DeKeitha Stamps to a quasi statewide position. And in the historicness of that moment, we got so wrapped up in just doing the work. It just hit me a couple of weeks ago of how historic it was, just because we've been busy working.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to go speak on behalf of the state of Mississippi and paint a picture of Mississippi that people didn't realize, that people in Mississippi are moving forward, even though we have our issues to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But we may not be what we want to be, but we daggone sure are not where we used to be. And we got this train called God and Good People. This train took off for me years ago, and it's been traveling around Mississippi, and we've been really able to work with folks to get things done to move Mississippi forward. So I want to say hats off to the World Conference of Mayors, the National Policy Alliance. One of my greatest mentors in life is Mayor Johnny Ford, and the work he's done over the years. And I just want to say I appreciate him for the invitation, but more importantly, I appreciate Mississippi for supporting us in that journey.
You mentioned Mayor Ford, and I don't know what Mayor Ford is taking. I don't know when he's eating. I don't know none of that. But for the be 90, was he 90 plus years old now? I know he up there.
He's 81 right now.
Oh, 81. Okay, I'm giving him an extra 10 years. He can run circles on us, man.
Oh, he's still playing basketball. I'm talking about running on a basketball court.
And but the professionalism, the how he takes charge of things, how he leads out, he makes sure you have accountability, very communication skills. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't put the torch down yet. He hasn't put the medal down. He's still pushing forward. So for me to be around there the last couple of years, you give me that opportunity. That I'm just letting you know. I'm taking note. Okay, there. But go ahead, sir.
Well, they have another conference in August. You definitely remind me. I would like for you to go to see that. It's going to be in Atlanta, so it's not going to be.
Yes, I know it's going to be that week of Atlanta. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on that week too.
Okay.
You got the Invest Fest. That's that weekend, the same weekend of that conference, and then I think that week you got another conference in Chicago too. But this is, like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But go ahead, Commissioner.
So this week we were down in it's over now, but the Municipal League was having their conference, and everything went well in that. And I want to talk about broadband since Jason brought it up. And
let me say something real quick, Commissioner, before you do that. But for these last couple of weeks, we done had 3 conferences. We had the Mississippi Water Association Conference. We had the Mississippi Association of Supervisors Conference. And now you have the MML. This is my first year of being at all 3 of them. So I'm taking note in my notes and everything. I'm making sure I figure out how everything correlates to each other. How this whole ecosystem and how all these guys play a role, and making sure long term that the value of the land they're governing and their oversight of is actually moving forward. So that to me, it's much bigger than to just, we went to a conference. Yeah, I shook some hands. Yeah, I did this. Nah, some of these guys are really they want to produce excellence here in Mississippi, and they're serious about it. So that was a big thing that stood out for me, especially this past week and this week, meeting with a couple of the guys out there on 61. They are serious about making sure they start doing better for their constituents.
That's right. You're going to hear us go even further into what we're calling the expansion plan for Mississippi. when it comes to Mississippi, one of our biggest drawbacks is that we have a declining population.
Mhm.
Well, when we look at our nation, the South is growing. People from around the country are moving to the South. They're moving from California, from New York, because the cost of living is higher and all that. And
Yep.
people are moving to the South. But when you have to ask yourself, well, why is Louisiana and Tennessee and Alabama, Georgia, Texas are growing, and Mississippi's not growing?
Yep.
So one of those big issues is housing. And you're going to see us continually move forward in the housing space, especially high density housing,
Mhm.
because the young folks of today, a lot of them can't afford a house to buy. Or secondly, they don't want to buy a house.
Sorry.
They want a condo and a coffee shop and a dog they can put in their purse.
Eat, work, and play is what I call it. They want somewhere to eat at, work at, and be at. All in the same circle.
Right. And so we as a state, we have to stop. I mean, I don't want to stop building subdivisions, but we have to balance out the housing that we build if we want to keep our young people here and give better options for housing. So you're going to see us move forward even deeper starting tomorrow. We have a meeting with Energy tomorrow, and we'll be talking about housing. Now, in a small community, that's just some high density, like the 8 plexes where you have 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top, those kinds of housing. But in larger areas like Hines, Madison, Rankin County, you need dense housing. Jackson really could absorb, 1,000 new units immediately.
Easily.
So that's one of the biggest reasons from our office that we're going to continue to work on is the housing piece. The next priority for us beyond housing, and these are all at the same time, it's not one or the other, it's all at the same time. First is housing, high density housing. Secondly is getting each one of your industrial parks marketable.
Yeah.
When you go to these industrial parks across the state, many of them are not marketable. You ask, well, why don't businesses come in certain places? So over the last couple of months, we've been working with supervisors and mayors and boards of aldermen to make a good hard look at your industrial parks. Is it maintained to the perfect degree? Where is it on the utilities? Making sure that all of the industrial parks have the proper water, sewer, natural gas, cell phone service, and broadband.
Access to the interstate.
Access to the interstate, all those things. So that's why we're focusing on that, because sometimes people say they put businesses in different places. Well, at the local level, we got to make sure that they're marketable, that it looks like something somebody want to move into. When you're trying to sell a house, you don't just sell it, just don't let's walk out. You spruce it up. You make it look like something somebody wants to move into. And that's one of the missing pieces when it comes to industrial parks across all of our 22 counties in the Central District. And that's the work that Mr. Clark and Mr. Morrison in our office are taking full steam ahead on, is getting all 22 counties industrial parks to a better space. Now, we were able to work with the legislature to carve out several $1 million for site development. What site development monies are, those are monies that each county can apply for so that they can prepare their industrial parks to make them marketable. And this is one of the key things that each board of supervisors and board of aldermen, we got 22 boards of supervisors and 95 boards of aldermen and mayors. This is how the utility space can drive economic development in your community, or the lack of utilities can drive out economic development. And so we're going to be deepening our partnerships with our utility providers from Entergy and all the rest of them to support getting our industrial parks and prepare for high density housing. And this partnership from the utilities is going to be critical because it's a win-win for everybody. Now, I'm not going to build single family housing or support that, because we are. We're most definitely going to support single family housing. But high density housing helps everyone, because as we lose population, we're going to have the same utilities to pay for. So more population, that means you spread the cost of utilities over more people. Less population means the fewer people still have to pay for the same utilities, even though your usage individually may be the same, but the same power lines, the same power plants, the same, all of those things play a role in dividing up who pays for what. So that's why we're trying to focus everyone on doing everything we can to increase the population of our community. Versus, go ahead.
Yeah, we spoke about the industrial sites, and I sent you something today. I don't know if you got a chance. You probably got a chance to look at it, but it's very important that the industrial sites get the funding they need to become marketable long term. And I say it because I know we just did a groundbreaking a couple of weeks ago or a month ago with the Amazon, but right up the road, 2.5 hours. Elon Musk is getting ready to build the largest AI gigafactory in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And people who don't really understand that artificial intelligence is about to grow, extremely grow. And I'm pretty sure Northern District is going to be a part of that. The residents they're going to be able to benefit from that. But I see that we got to start making sure our infrastructure can be marketable, so we can get some of these more jobs here. You know what I'm saying? So I know everybody don't really know what the industrial site really is, what it does, and all that type of stuff. But this is what you have to do to make sure you be in the market to have more job security for your residents.
That's right. So while in our office, we may focus on the things we're supposed to do, but we can help on a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure that people kind of get a picture of the things that our office is supposed to be doing. Because again, when you call our office, we're going to help you out. I'll point you in the direction to get some help. But that does not mean that's what you call our office for. And so I want to make sure we start to make that distinction, because I love our folks. I love them. I love them, everybody to death, and I don't mind you calling me. I want you to keep calling. But I want everybody to get a better education on how civics works, so that you make sure that you call the appropriate person. And we're going to continue to help everybody out, but I want to use these moments to kind of educate folks on some of the things that we do specifically in our office.
Yeah. But
the next focus,
go ahead.
You're going to see this rolling out over the course of the next few weeks, is, again, continually focus on growing our population. The next step is looking at all of our boards of aldermen and our municipal leaders, getting them certified through the MML process or the Board of Supervisors process. Because once you get your CMO designation from Mississippi Municipal League, that means you've gone to class and learned your basics that you need to learn. And then they have an advanced CMO course where it's a certified municipal official. There's an advanced course. The more of our local leaders that we get to graduate through those courses when they come to the conference, and the same thing with our boards of supervisors, Now you have the basic understanding of what's needed to articulate your situation and navigate through the processes. For me, Mississippi Municipal League and the National League of Cities, when I was at the local level, or the foundation of education that was necessary to get a good understanding of how it all worked and how to be effective. So I encourage every local government official, if you're a board of aldermen or mayor, council person, participate, learn everything you can learn, because it makes you a better elected official and it helps you to understand how to do things. Because there's one thing that gets you elected, but there's one thing that makes you effective. Many run for office for a myriad of different reasons. But once you get elected, you understand that government works by process and education and making sure you're navigating your things through a process to get to an end result. And so that's the point I want to make there. And hats off to those municipal officials who have gained in the current times. Now I'm going to post something. You asked about broadband.
Yes, sir.
Again, we talk about broadband all the time. All right. Every week we talk about broadband.
It's critical. It's critical. It's critical.
But it's critical. All right. And so as we've gone through broadband over the last, several years, I'm going to post a couple things in the chat, not the chat, but the comment box. And I'm going to make sure that everybody pays attention to the comments, because now we're finna get into the details about the basics of broadband. So the first step, broadband expansion. If you're tired of slow or no internet, first step, make sure you go to broadbandms.com, take the speed test. If you do not have internet, you can text internet or call to 601-439-2535. That's 601-439-2535. When I was in the House of Representatives, our House district became one of the fastest deployments of broadband in the state of Mississippi, because we went through the process. And we went just like you do in a campaign. When you run for office, you go knock on doors, you go to neighborhood meetings. First off, this is not something that the government is going to do for you. This is something that local leadership needs to use the same process used to get elected. Go back to those same neighborhood meetings and make sure the people in your neighborhoods go to the website, sign up, and I would take the speed test over and over again.
Yeah.
That verifies that the speed that you have at your house is effective. When we initially talked about this, we told people to take it 5 days in a row. And that's what we're still saying.
Yep, accuracy. Come on.
Right. Because the federal government, when we first got elected, said that Mississippi didn't need broadband because of the access to clear skies and you can get satellite internet. Well, working with our federal delegation, that put us in a position to receive resources for broadband expansion. And so now the federal government is about to roll those funds out. And if you're not on the map, you're not on the map. If your neighbors are not on the map, you're not on the map. So it's not just about you individually, but you collectively going through that process. I'm gonna put it back on the screen. Now, this is step one. All right. Again, go to www.broadbandms.com and take the speed test. If you do not have internet, there's a phone number you can call and do it several times in a row over the course of 5 days. Step one. All right. Now, step two is about to take place in the next few weeks. what step 2 is, I'm gonna put this on the screen in just hold on 1 second. Let me get myself together here. Step 2, hold on, Jason. So step 2, what step 2 is? Step 2 is challenging. So the federal government has started to roll out some of these targeted maps where they're going to put resources based on the people we've been telling to do this for a couple of years now. Now, there's a challenge process in this. The Office of Broadband Expansion and Accessibility of Mississippi will be hosting a webinar tomorrow at 1:30 to help individuals and eligible challengers prepare for the upcoming challenge process. So this means that if you go on to step 1 and your information is on the map, let me pull the map. Just I'm gonna make sure everybody get this because this is important. This is important. I want to make sure everybody see this. So when you look at this map, and you see the pink portion is unserved, and the gray portion is served. Well, look how much of Mississippi is still unserved. So that means that we must challenge the map. All right.
That's a lot.
Can you see it, Jason?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly.
Okay, good. So now, all right, this is gonna be critical that folks look on there, hop on that link there, and learn how to challenge how they are rolling out resources. Again, this is not something that I can just do by myself. This is something that is a community and local leadership issue that everybody must, if your information is not on the map for the resources to be rolled out, you need to participate in the challenge process as a municipality, as a county. So every mayor, board of aldermen, council person needs to be critical on this and look at your areas and challenge the process if you're being left out. Again, this is not something I can do by myself for everybody. This is something we all must do together. And there's a process to challenging it. And again, you can go right on our Facebook page, watch this video again. It's in the comments. It's being streamed on YouTube and Twitter as well. Again, this is how you challenge the process. All right. So we'll make sure that we don't have any misconceptions. Now, this is going to be important. Put it back on the screen one more time. Thursday, June 17th at 1:30. They have a registration link. So you go on tonight, click on the link and register, and then you can participate in the challenge process tomorrow. Jason, make sure we send that out to the folks who called our office, especially like Ms. Pace and those. There's a town hall meeting tomorrow.
Right, yes, sir.
In Rural Hinds County, talking about a myriad of different issues. Again, broadband's not our office's responsibility, but it's so important that we take a piece of our time to talk about it, all because it doesn't seem like it's sinking in that this is not something that the government is going to do for you, that you got to participate in this process to get it done for yourself. I'm going to pass back to you, Jason.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map, Commissioner, and I wish it looked a little bit different. That's all. But because at the end of the day, I know we talk about how Mississippi's not growing right now, but on another end, you got folks who are moving down here, but we don't have them. People would come if you got broadband. That's all. I can't put it simple as that.
Will come if you got broadband, and people will stay if you got broadband.
Yeah, I mean, yes. And my thing is long term, you got to increase the tax revenue. You got to sustain the tax revenue. I'm talking about basic services. I'm talking about. I'm talking about your trash cans, your basic stuff that's supposed to be done, hiring people. It's a whole ecosystem. It's just not just broadband and surf the internet. No, I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about just the keeping quality of life there. That's why we've been. I know you've been in the legislature with it, but I know for a fact the last 2 years we've been humping about this doggone broadband, and I would like for the map to look a lot better than when I just saw it. That's all, but it'll get there. I guess it'll get there.
Well, this is something that everybody can participate in, needs to participate in, because here's the deal: when we're in a situation where no one wants to buy your house, like broadband, that means the value of your home is going to be less. So since most people's wealth is tied up in the value of their property, if nobody wants to buy your property, that means that you have less generational wealth to hand down to your families. So if you're a senior citizen and you want to maintain your property value, broadband is important. If you're a young person who wants to work from home, that needs quality, stable, reliable internet, this is for you. So this is an everybody conversation, no matter how much you use the internet or not, because really there's a lot of money being made strictly online, so we can create.
Let me just say there. Hold on, I think you got a call, Commissioner. Hello, caller, you on the air?
Hi, yes, I just wanted to make a comment about the broadband expansion. I want to, first of all, just say thank you to the commissioner and his staff for spreading the word about this. This has been a long time coming, and I want to also iterate the fact that I do believe that the lack of internet connectivity will be a contributing factor to the growth in Mississippi. The reality is a lot of people work from home, and just living right in an area in Presidential Hills and near Presidential Hills, which Presidential Hills is actually Mississippi, which is in an urban area. And several areas in Presidential Hills did not have access to high-speed internet. White Street and Pocahontas, we fought that fight for years, going through the proper protocol and channel. And when monies through the Black Farmers Bill was sent for broadband, it was interesting. The community didn't gain access, but they play polo, they have high-speed internet. So I am glad that this time around, this sounds like it's going to be a more equitable process. The people can have access to high-speed internet. So thank you.
Appreciate the call.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you for giving us a call. When we co-authored the broadband bill with Representative Scott Bounds in the legislature. And one of the things that we were able to get in, even though we couldn't get a lot of the things we wanted in, but one of the key things that we got in was we put a data process in place where you could put the information on the website, because y'all know big money comes to Mississippi, and Mississippi has a history of not equitably rolling out resources. Well, one way that we can hedge against it, and I'm not even going to lie to you and like it's not, I don't know if it's going to happen in the future. But one thing we put in that law to trim that down is to make it all data driven, so that the utility companies who are applying for the resources have to use the map that's generated by the citizens. Let me say that again. The companies who are applying for the resources have to use the map that's generated by the citizens to apply for the money. So that's as democratic as I could see, even though I co-authored it, I wasn't able to get a lot of things I wanted on it, but the things I could get consensus on it, and that was one of them, because it drove up citizen participation, but the citizens are not participating as much as I would like them to. But the federal government has looked at and reviewed some proposals, And now there's a challenge process before the money's rolled out. And so now I need everybody to go to the stuff we just put in the comment box. We can put it back on the screen again. We're having webinars to teach citizens how to formally challenge the federal government because of their lack of inclusion in the money. Let me say it again. There's a process to challenge. If your information is not there, you can go right on the Beam website. You can take a look at them and pull the website up again. And you can go right on our website. You know, you can, on the front page of it, as you can tell, as everything that I try to do, I try to put the main stuff on the front page. Let me pull this website up again here. 1 second, Jason.
While you're doing that, Commissioner, I do want to mention this because we get a lot of this too. There will be, I already know there are other programs out there. And I'm specifically talking about the rural parts of Mississippi through USDA. They're also pushing broadband. So what I'm hearing is we have a lot of low-hanging fruit out there that's trying to make sure we get broadband spread across Mississippi. So we got to do our part. We got to do our part.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the website, we got it pulled up on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first thing. It says View BEAD Challenge Map. You can test your internet speed. So if you've not done this, you can test your internet speed from your home internet. Don't use your cell phone because your cell phone gets its speed from a cell phone tower. Your home internet or cut your cell off and use the Wi-Fi at the house and not the cell phone service. But this is specifically for internet home service at your home. You go to the website here and you click on BEAD Challenge Map.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, you can see all the information right here on the internet. All right. You can view all the broadband data. You can put your address in. I mean, there's a lot of information here. So I want to make sure that we do what we need to do to participate. You can see the Capital Projects Fund. You can see procurement, digital skills and accessibility. They have opportunities where folks can learn how to use internet. They got access to classes, so there's just a myriad of information on the website here. And I just need folks to first participate in that process. And secondly, challenge the process. Let me say that again. I want you to participate in the process and I want you to challenge the process. Let me say that again. I want you to participate in the process and I want you to challenge it individually and challenge it collectively. I think we've gotten to a point, Jason, I saved this portion for the last few minutes of the show because it's going to be, like Frank Melton used to have the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at 50 every week, we're going to start having the bottom line.
All right. Sounds good.
Frank Melton used to come on the TV on Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
The last 5 minutes of the news, basketball course will stop playing ball. Folks run the house, see what Frank Melton got to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the bottom line. And this is the first week we've had the bottom line. And in honor of Frank Melton, he was just in my spirit today. I couldn't get his spirit off me today. So I said, today during the show, we're going to have a bottom line. The bottom line, we have become the most distracted generation in world history. Not American history, but world history. We've become so distracted with the internet and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Snapchat and Instagram. We've become so distracted with the NFL, the NBA. Do you know why Martin Luther King was effective? Because he wasn't distracted.
Focus, a ton of vision. You're right.
Focus. And then even though he was an educated man, he took his education and did things with it. We've gotten to the point today where, as a society, and I'm not excluding myself from anything I'm saying, as a society, we've gotten so educated that we lack execution. And so accustomed to convenience that we expect everything to be convenient. Everything is not convenient. Everything is not easy. Harriet Tubman took trips up the Underground Railroad, and it was not a real railroad. It was walk from place to place, walking, talking, secretly moving. So I want to make sure we understand that in today's society, we have to do work. Work is still important. Work is still critical for us to maneuver. So take a moment, look at all the ways that you are being distracted and limit the distractions. I'm to the point now where I only even check social media maybe once a day, maybe twice. And that's it. And I stay focused on what I'm supposed to be doing and the things that I'm supposed to be effective at. So,
all right, there we go.
So being distracted is hurting us. It's hurting us as an individual. Being distracted is hurting us as a family. Being distracted is hurting us as a block. Distraction is hurting us as a neighborhood. Let me catch this last caller. Your last caller of the day. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hold on, Commissioner. They hung up. He better double check, Commissioner.
You got it there, Jason?
Yes, sir.
Well,
hello, caller.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. You kept mentioning the website, but what website should we go to for the broadband? You mentioned a broadband test, but sometimes on radio we need to repeat that information because where we drive and we can't stop and write.
Okay. All right. It's www.
You mentioned the 3 steps: web address, and then challenge broadband, something like that. Challenge broadband map or something. What web address?
Okay, hold on for me.
And what is that phone number? You said a 459 or 439 phone number or something.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Okay.
All right. So the website is broadbandms.com. 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 The telephone number to call if you do not have broadband service at all. Because people say, well, how do you participate to get broadband if you don't have broadband? 601-439-2535. That's 601-439-2535. And if you're driving right now, go back to our Facebook page, Commissioner Stamps, on Facebook and YouTube, all these other places out there. The information's out there. And it's in every description box of every video that we've done for the last 4 years. And you can click on any Reviving Mississippi show for the last 4 years. And this same block is in the description every week for the last 4 years with this very same information there, no matter if you're on Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram, all these places. So again, but back to my final thoughts. My final thoughts is that everybody has a lot going on, but it's time to focus. I know there's a constant conversation always on the internet, but that doesn't mean that you have to be in it. That does not mean you have to participate. That does not mean you have to respond. You don't have to. You do not have to respond to everything. You don't have to respond to everything. At all. Even if they call your name, you don't have to respond. Even if they're talking about you, you don't have to respond. You can spend the bulk of your day focused on your priorities, because your priorities are what you're responsible for. And I want to finish up my last comment, Jason.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service. Today marks 10 years since Michael Jordan Transportation Service was fully operational, and he wants to thank everyone for their support. 10 years.
Great
10
brother
years,
right there.
Michael Jordan Transportation Service's birthday. And we appreciate that brother for giving birth to a wonderful business. And most businesses go out of business within the first 2 years. And for him to be there 10 years, that means it's good folks from all over that participate in his service. And we thank him for it.
And he hires too. I want to say that.
And grow. He's still working.
I know. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Well, Commissioner, hey, hopefully we see you soon here. Next week.
Yeah, we'll be back in the studio on next Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll have one of those young men who are running for Board of Education in Hinds County. There, we'll see if it comes on next week. But again, please remember our Underwriters for Day show, Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. Also, you can go to if you want some good food versus fast food, go and check out Stamp Soup Burgers and tell me what you think.
Go ahead then now. All right, Commissioner.
As we end every show, we always say never let anybody put you in a position when you don't love your own folks, because you hate your own people. Part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Handy, get us out of here.
Peace out.
So y'all, it seems like we're off the radio now, and I don't even want to get off this thing, but I will in a second. But I just want to say, let's eliminate the distractions. We got too many distractions in our life, and get focused on our own personal health, our own children, and our families, and making good decisions. The best decisions are the ones you've thought through. So take a moment to focus on you and your family so that you can be a better service to your community. I love y'all. God bless. Godspeed.